Much ambiguity here with the full A control for Lysor. Here we go.
The high-low setup gonna be so difficult to break, and Autumn comes away with two. Meteor able to find Berlin. Lakia and Charon, they get themselves out into the site, clear out quickly there on the haunt. Lakia inching his way forward, he walks right into it, and Autumn is looking to deliver the win at long last. The pit invested in Charon, everything to do. Spots one, swings out of it though, and Autumn will collect the 4K. 16-14 FPX. They do not let the map get away from them.
Yeah, FPX beat GENG in an absolute classic. Now, they would go on to lose the series in a very close map 3 as well, but they won here on Lotus playing their triple controller stuff. No Sentinel, triple controller. And it just begs the question, how are they doing this, right? This was an incredibly attack-sided game. 10-2 for both sides on the attack side. So let's take a look at how that happened. And we'll start with FPX, who took a big lead, on their attack side here at the start of the game. And, well, the treble smokes here, obviously the lack of Sentinel probably isn't going to penalize you as much on your attacking side. But really, to me, I mean, this pistol round is like a good start for the triple smokes and something that you cannot do. I mean, you can't do this on Lotus anyway, full stop, but especially against triple smokes, like, you can't play this passive. This is like a no, never. This is like a never. You should never, ever play this passive on Lotus in general, probably, but particularly against triple smokes, because what's going to happen to you is pretty much what happens to them here, right? We walk out on A, we start opening the door, we start putting down some smokes, right? We start threatening this side of the map, right? And you can see here GENG set up, we got the 2 players towards C and we got 3 players towards A, and these guys aren't going to move, as you're going to see as we keep running this round forward. But the thing is, right, with the smokes, like, hey, we can come and put down this smoke down here towards stairs, right? And make you think like, oh, this is going to be, the exec here. We've got the wall from B now. I can't quite tell. I'm going to guess that the turret, hopefully for GENG's sake, is ahead of it, but I don't actually know that it's ahead of the wall, so maybe that's even giving them not much information either anytime that wall goes up. But the thing is, you see that, FPX start to come out towards C, and they don't even really, they start taking an ult up. It's not really like even a quiet exec, and now you're going to see the smoke start to come on to the site. But obviously, look at where GENG are, right? We've still got 3 players trapped towards A here, and this is the thing, obviously, particularly anytime you're playing triple smokes, is if you're going to be passive and you're not going to, go and gain info of where they actually are, they're going to be able to smoke part of the map, and this is a pistol round, so it's not maybe the best example of it, but between obviously the wall, the Viper Orb, the 2 Omen smokes, the Astra smokes, like, they're going to be able to create disinformation here with certain amount of smokes if you are going to be this passive and, let them take space for free, right? So you can't let this happen, because otherwise you will end up with a map that looks a lot like this, where rotates are nowhere near, and you're basically in a 5v2.
Getting plays, GENG realize that this is where the site hit is going to come through. Lakia going to be taken down, the headshot from Berlin, able to find that opening kill. For now, Texture trying to play it patiently, manages to find one, get some damage there onto Ayung, but Ayung able to come out on top. Finds that kill, man advantage now here for the side of FPX as Wingman gets the plant.
That hit is so smothering from FPX. There's stars, there's Omen flashes, it's everything in the kitchen sink, and it's too much to handle for Lakia. He gets pinned in the corner.
Still though, HP bars here for the side of FPX. Certainly could be better, but already that's a great shot to find. Life taking down one, Count now going to be blinded up as Dizzy comes across, and now Life catching a glimpse, seeing Meteor and finishing it off. A 3K here for FPX's raise as the crowd.
Okay, so we know that being super passive, particularly on Lotus, is a bad idea. Against triple smokes, it's maybe an even worse idea. So what about the complete opposite of that, right? What if we get super aggro on them, like GENG do here, right? You can kind of see straight away, this is the start of a round. We're going to triple push here. We're going to do the old CB crunch right here, on this kind of area of the map. And actually, you might have seen in the round prior, they sent out this Seize Nade here at the start of that pistol round as well, perhaps setting up for this as well, because obviously they didn't push out last time. This time they will, but let's see how this one goes.
Of them are going to be trying for a crunch through towards spawn.
Texture out the blood, Life holding the line outside of B, takes him down, and this aggression, it's red, it's expected, and it is dealt with.
So FPX were very ready for the aggression there, and this is the point with this kind of BC crunch, right? This is a very common idea to go for this as a general idea, something that the defenders might throw in there. And of course, initially the plan, I think, was, hey, we're going to be really aggressive C, and then these guys are going to, their first reaction is going to be to sprint back to A. But the thing is, this has become such a common play that here you see FPX kind of deal with this in exactly the way that you kind of want to, right? These two here, the Viper and the Killjoy, you know, they don't actually have any utility, right? They are dry swinging this, essentially, right? So if you can just get onto angles like Lysol does here, you know, where I'm not being affected by any of the stuff coming out from these guys. So these guys are just dry swinging into me. And if you can just deal with them first, well, now these guys, I mean, now you can just run this way, right? Like now there is no threat to just running that way, and the pressure is only coming from one side. So, you know, this is a really good way of dealing with it from Lysol. You see he's in position to deal with it straight away. You know, they see the Seasonades come in there. You see instantly we're kind of back. But in fact, I mean, look, straight away, we're just looking here. Right, we're in position now to just deal with these guys essentially straight away. And so this is something where, you know, I think teams might need to start coming up with variations on this a bit more, you know, and try and like play with this as an idea, you know, because I mean, this had no chance essentially. Like if we look at like where the map is, and you know, we've just got two players just literally holding, staring for it. In fact, they're even putting down like an Astra Star already, right, to Astra suck them in case, you know, that they did lose that fight. And now look, we're all just turning this way. You know, I mean, this never had a chance. Okay, so GENG were struggling early on then, but how should you try and play against triple smokes, right? How do you play against this? You know, because it is very difficult on the defensive side, particularly on a map like Lotus, to do this. But I think going back to kind of the basics of the map like this is probably your best way, right? This is probably the way that you really want to do that, and that is obviously take this A control like they do here, right? That, you know, they have just shown aggression in the last round, so maybe, you know, FPX are going to be you know, a bit wary, you know, because you have shown that you are willing to be aggressive already at this point, right? But you want to get into this point, and then I really want to watch, you know, the position that GENG actually end up in here, because Texture, yeah, they've pushed up on A, but he doesn't just like stick around, you know, playing perhaps a normal position on A. He's actually going to eventually, you know, come and push ahead of the Viper Wall, right? And this is kind of the crucial thing, that we get the Prowler out here, and now we get to this position, and this is what you want, right? That we've taken some control. Now I'm ahead of the smokes, right? It's very unlikely that FPX, you know, particularly before you've shown this, that they're going to put any smoke here, right? So we actually have this information. I'm ahead of the Viper Wall. I'm ahead of any smokes that they're going to put down. You know, that the FPX like to put this smoke down here, right? I'm ahead of it all. Right, I'm not being impacted by anything they're going to do. I am getting this information. And what that means is, like in this round, if FPX, you know, decide to, in this one, they just decide to not really bother with A, and they're just going to end in a C hit here, right? We can get to this point where, yeah, sure, they're putting all these stars down on B, and they're making this look like, oh, it could be a B hit, and then actually they're going to end C, right? But the thing is, we've got 4 players here. Right, so once we figure out that this isn't real, you know, we've still got 2 players on the site with the Killjoy setup and the Viper here as well. Our Omen can get there in time, and what that means is the C hit, you know, the likelihood of success here is actually very low.
In here, onto the B site. Nebula going to be coming up as they look for the push, or at least they clear out there on that alarm bot. They're able to find it, but they just go ahead, they fade away. Now they hit onto the door, the Thrash in hand. Ion looks to open things up here on C. Nanoswarm's going through, trying to really just get that one in there, but Munchkin up over the top here on site, just spray through, manages to find a kill on the life. They still need a lot more than that. Swings back down, managing to find one. Looks for that third, has it. Lightsor going to be taking down Berlin, able to find 2. However, Karen and Meteor both fall. Lockheed puts the O to the use, finds that kill, and now it is all on Autumn, and he will be taken down.
We saw in that round there, GENG, you know, getting ahead of smokes, allowing them to stack the rest of the map. Sure, FPX didn't do a great job of baiting out utility, and, you know, they got hit by an Omen Flash, they got hit by, you know, Nanoswarm, Snakebite, all that, so not great from FPX. But FPX do have a counter as well to, you know, your A aggression potentially as well. Because what they can do is they can go and get an attacking up, right? And this causes you a big problem.
If trying to really lean into this sniper advantage, it's going to try to contest this rubble space that GENG took last round.
Oh, should have seen the arm, but they still continue to push forward. Showstopper out, it'll take him down so very low, but that has proven fruitless in the past. We've seen like Autumn playing around 5 HP and still being able to get impact here in the rounds. Now it's just going to be the double face. The up claims Lockheed, texture gone, and just like that.
So you want to play aggressive, you want to get ahead of smokes, you want to be getting that information, but they have an op. So you don't want to be jump picking stuff. You don't want to be pushing out into them. So what do? Right? And this is the real problem, you know, for any team. And okay, in this example, I'm not exactly sure why, you know, Karen doesn't do the one-way here. You know, I don't really really know, to be honest, why, you know, there is no one-way here, because that maybe saves his life in general. But merely the fact of having the op, right, means that there's gonna be a lot of situations. And then, to be fair, this is a really, really nice, again, you see GENG, they try and get ahead of the smokes here, right? Like Texture and Lakia, they end up, you know, super pushed up. You know, they try and get into this really deep position, but you see Autumn, great wide swing there. Great wide swing as a team, you know, great face as a team, and the op gets another kill as well. And it does cause you a lot of problems, because then it's like, well, you're kind of damned if you do, right? If you do try and get aggressive, you're running into an op. And if you don't get aggressive, you're just going to get manipulated until you lose. But for all the success that FPX had on their attack side, they did lose 10 rounds on defense, you know, and we still had to go to overtime despite it being 11-2. They actually won the pistol and then lost the second round as well. So what was going so wrong for them on the defensive side? Well, let me show you this round.
Goes Hopper at the ready. Life is just sending it. Haunt gets a reveal, but the grab well is set up. The Munchkin gets caught. Meanwhile, the push out. Ayung able to take out Meteor. What a wild start! As Life comes up with one, Karen mows down three. Texture now, his own showstopper in hand, sends it, gets the kill, and my God, what an explosive, chaotic, and messy round!
When I talked about that BC crunch maybe becoming a bit predictable, this is the kind of other way of doing this that I think is, you know, a really cool idea. This is actually an eco here for FPX, but they have their Razor, right? So what they're gonna do is, you see, they don't show anything at the start of the round, but then we're just gonna insta Razor. Out we come towards A. Teams are going to run back like GENG do here. They then put the double stars in here for an Astra Suck, Astra Stun, and then they have the other 4 players pushing out B. Right? A really cool, different way of doing this that, you know, you don't see anyone else do. You see the Astra utility just there. It manages to get a kill. With then Omen flashing out of B as well, right? So we're coming out here, Omen flashing with it. And obviously the Astra does help in that instance, you know, where most teams would have a fade or something. You wouldn't really be able to do the Astra Suck. But of course, then GENG still actually win the round. Now, I will say that, you know, they need a Razor and Karen to perform absolute heroics here, right, to actually win this round. Like, that's how they win the round. It's just Karen absolutely going crazy and, you know, getting a bit ahead of it and getting 3 kills, right? That's how they win the round. But the thing is with FPX, as you're about to see in the next round I'm going to show you, they have to kind of do this kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So let me show you that next round, round number 18. And if we just take a look at this one, so obviously we've just seen the round prior, right, where FPX go kind of crazy. This one, they're going to play a bit more standard, a bit more passive, right? And they run into mega problems, right? Just absolute mega problems that if they're going to play, you know, this kind of like passive, okay, they're being like slightly aggro here, you know, with an op actually towards B, right? So there's like, you know, they're a bit pushed up on B, but other than that, you know, no real clue, you know, super passive, not really, you know, are they out towards C? Don't know. You know, are they coming up A? Don't know, right? Like all of that kind of stuff. And eventually they will end A here, right? And so the exec is like about to start. They're going to actually send a fade ult in here and then just come towards A. But just take a look at this, right? Because imagine, apart from them doing just a straight B exec, you know, like they could do a C exec and it would probably be a good idea. They're going to do an A exec and it's a good idea. If they came and did a B split, you know, there would be some trouble here as well of like, what do you want to do? These two might push out here, right? But there's still a lot of space to be taken, right? There's still potential gaps that, you know, could be exploited here as well, and always, you know, potentials for late lurks that are going to be troubling for FPX. And this, of course, is the thing. They don't have any information, right? They just don't have a sentinel to grant them that kind of information or maybe extra stopping power that they need. And so you'll see now this A exec comes in, but also the rotates are going to be slow as well.
Smoke coming down, but it's going to be the Nightfall to try to open things up, and Lysor caught out, completely blinded up. They do get the trail detect here, but Ayung just has to pull back. Decade down, and now it's going to be a 4v5 attempt at the retake here for FPX as they try to get themselves up to map point. But for now, GENG very much entrenched on the site.
Tough retake. You have the Thrash, but GENG's backing off, not giving them good opportunities to use it.
It's only Texture that's playing forward. Everybody else has drifted back. They're expecting these flank positions. As Munchkin just spraying away, is able to find one. Life going to be taken down. The Operator now out of play. Ayung and Berlin going to try to survive. Texture swinging out. Not quite ready for Berlin to be in that position. It looks like he still wants to re-challenge. Munchkin as well, getting ready to encroach, working his way in towards B side. Spray away, the final shot. Connects there. Texture claims the kill. Now it's...
I mean, just watch the map from when the exec actually starts, right? So it's about to start now. They're going to fade ult. They're going to open the door. You know, Omen flash. They kill the Omen just there. The Prowler's coming in. Look at these guys. Look how slow this is, right? Look at how slow it is. And in fact, look at where our Gecko, I mean, the spike is getting planted now, right? So the spike has just gone down now. I mean, we've barely moved, right? Our Astra is still all the way C. You know, our Raze has just started to move from B because, of course, you know, any lurk up here. And then the thing is, of course, like, if there was a lurk up here and the timing came in now, that would still be find kills, right? A lurk here would still be good if it was timed correctly, you know, and you found a good timing. So this is obviously the problem, that if they play like somewhat passive, you know, you just run into massive problems where almost any round your opponent is going to go for will find some success. And so now let me end with showing you the one round other than the defensive pistol that FPX did win on their defense in regulation.
Now half armor's abound, but rifles in hand. Texture spraying through the wall, just trying to find anything that he can. Paint shells letting loose. Now the push with the dizzy blind. It comes in and it's an easy kill delivered to Lysor. As they continue to take him into more space. Lysor with 2. Lakia and Karen trying to answer back. Lakia, everything to do, but he cannot find it.
Yeah, the round that they won here on the defense side was a massive delayed team fight on A, right? Which is actually very similar to a round that they won in overtime as well, right? And I do think that this was GENG somewhat playing into the lose condition, right? Like, this is kind of what FPX want you to do, to be noisy, you know, coming out towards A, and then they can re-aggro on you. This is kind of like their dream scenario. This is like, you know, the one way they can actually win on this defense side is something like this, right? Where they can just bombard you with some of their util. So, you know, I didn't really love it from GENG, and they kept going for this at the end of the game, and I kept thinking, like, I really wish you wouldn't. You know, I really wish you'd calm down and play a lot slower, but, you know, sometimes that's the way it is. But triple smokes, you know, it's an interesting idea, but I do think that obviously it has some mega weaknesses. You know, on the defense side in particular, you know, if I was FPX and you know, we're forced to play this comp, you know, I would be saying, like, we've got to come up with a lot of innovative, like they showed in that round prior, you know, like Raze ult through A, 4 push B, like just a lot of that kind of stuff, like weird, wacky ideas that we can throw at our opponents. Because if we aren't doing stuff like that, then we really are relying on absolute hero plays to, you know, hold onto the site and get like 3 kills, you know, or we're just losing slowly, right? That's basically how it's going to go against really any team that knows what they're doing.